Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. This is my son Ben. And today we have a brand new bottle here on our cask. It's the Loch Lomond, 12 years.
Mm-hmm. Loch Lomond is a very interesting distillery because Loch Lomond has also a grain distillery. Mm-hmm. They also have a column still for malt distilling, which they're not allowed to put into the single malt anymore. And what else? And they are really focused on bourbon casks.
Yeah, they have different stills as well. They have 2 pot stills for in former times only for the Loch Lomond, and then they have the Inchmurren stills, which is a pot still with rectifier floors or levels on top of that, and on the back side of the tube you can see these.
And they have this cooling ring as well.
Yeah, you can see the Inchmurren stills and the Lomond stills. So that I now think that they mix.
The thing is, they have as they only use bourbon barrels or casks, ex-bourbon casks, they produce different whiskies with different kind of distillates. So their distillation varies from the yeast. They have, I think, 2 or 3 kind of yeasts. Then they have different stills. Then they have different, if they do the cooling ring on and off. And also they do have, I think, smoky and non-smoky. And I think I'm missing one thing.
Yes, you're missing a point. They have rejuvenated casks. So they have a machine.
Yeah, but the distillates, I think they're missing one point there. But yeah,
and they're able to produce a single blend.
A single blend? What do you mean with that?
You have grain whiskey and malt whiskey mixed together as a blend from a single distillery.
Okay.
But they don't write it on the label.
Yeah, I don't think they use that.
Yes. Yeah, and there are 3 main variants of output of the distillery. One is the Loch Lomond, which is the major brand. And then the next is the Inchmurren, which is a fruity style whiskey. And the third one is the Inchmorren, which is named after an island in Loch Lomond, I think.
They're all named after the islands.
All. And that is the smoky variant.
Yes, the distillates also are called Inchmurren and Inchmorren and many other. There are even more islands there. And but they have nothing to do with the brands outside. So in Loch Lomond there is Inchmorren, Inchmurren, a distillate mixed together, and in the Inchmurren is the same but with a different recipe. So their recipe for their brands are composed of the different distillate recipes and of course maturation.
Yeah. And now the new Loch Lomond 12 years of age. It's 46% ABV. It's priced in the mid-30s. It's non-chill filtered, so they increased quality a lot. Yeah, and I remember I visited the Open, the golf tournament in Ireland, and there Loch Lomond Distillery was the main sponsor, or one of the big sponsors. They had their own venue there. Fruity. We do not see the picture in the front, so I'm not quite sure if I put it the right way, so it's not twisted. And you can see the label. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fresh and fruity. But a little more intense than I remember the Inchmurren. The Inchmurren had been fresh and fruity, but the underlying more stronger aroma wasn't there. Of course, that's a malt. Vanilla, caramel, and, well, green apples, pears, and a citrus note.
Yeah. It's wonderfully sweet. And together with this fruitiness of green apple, a little bit of citrus note, reminds me a little bit of gummy bears, wine gum. So
from time to time you find that.
Yeah,
I remember.
But I don't mean this in a demeaning or degrading way. It's really nice. I mean the ones with really good quality, and it's not just gummy bears. It's a wonderful potpourri of sweetness and fruitiness. I love it, and also a little bit of a round malty note.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Round, wonderful. A little bit stronger from the oak notes and the impact on my tongue as I expected from the nose. So this is definitely, that one has seen casks, probably those rejuvenated casks a little bit, so that the oak is strong in this one. Yeah. And the fruitiness is now covered a little bit by the oak, and there's a little bit of citrus sweetness in the back.
It says rejuvenated and recharged casks, and it's wonderful how much fruitiness is in this whiskey, but it's not a defined sherry fruitiness. I don't want to say there is no sherry influence in there, but the fruitiness is very fresh and present.
Yeah, but the fresh fruitiness results from the yeasts.
Yes.
And the more riper fruitiness typically come from the sherry cask.
Yeah.
So this is distillery character.
I would say yeasts. I know that they use 3 different kind of yeast. I think one was the normal distiller's yeast, and the others were 2 very special wine yeasts they got from I don't know where. And maybe that's the wine yeast. And I've talked to them, and the wine yeasts are not as bad in yield as some other brewery yeasts. Some brewery yeasts, they have wonderful aromas of tropical fruits, but this here is very fresh fruitiness. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, on one hand you have the distiller's yeast, but there are some distilleries out there which use a mixture of baker's yeasts and brewery yeast, because one starts very fast, the baker's yeast, and the brewery yeast is slower. And the wine yeast typically lead to a higher ABV because the wines are fermenting much higher.
So typically more yield, but probably also slower.
Faster production, slower fermentation, but faster production because the input is higher in ABV.
Yeah, but they have huge tanks there. So if you have bigger fermentation tanks, you can have longer time.
You see them from the outside.
Yeah.
I took a video.
But some of them are outside. Some of them are inside.
Yeah. So outside, I took a video from outside the distillery, and it was from 2013, I think. And there you can see that Loch Lomond is one of the distilleries with a high output, or had been with a high output. But now they're moving over to quality, to aged whiskey, to better cask selection, to finishing. So they change proprietors.
Yeah. But I think still here you see how much you can do without always grabbing to casks and finishing in some special cask from exquisite foreign countries. But you can also do it with the yeast. And a very interesting distilling process and mixture between different distillates and different distillation methods. So this is a perfect example of distilling method.
Yeah.
So that was it. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to know more about the distillation at Loch Lomond, go to the Loch Lomond site on Whisky.com or watch the YouTube video about the distillery that is here on our channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.